Radio Scotland.
And this is Good Morning Scotland with Gary Robertson and Laura Maxwell. And it's now more than 3 decades since 29 people were killed in a Chinook helicopter crash on the Mull of Kintyre, and the families of those who died are still demanding answers. They want the Ministry of Defence to release documents that have been locked away until the year 2094. That's a full century after the tragedy that claimed the lives of everyone on board the flight travelling from Northern Ireland to a military base at Fort George near Inverness. Andy Tobias was 8 years old when his father, Lieutenant Colonel John Tobias, died in the crash. He's with us now alongside Lucy Sparks, who was just 2 when she lost her dad, Major Gary Sparks. Good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Andy, obviously you were both very young when these events happened. What do you know? Can you remember what you were told at the time about what had happened?
Yes, good morning. At the time, we had 2 people approach the house in the middle of the evening, essentially informing my mum that a crash had occurred. My mum did her best to try and shadow the severity of the issue by just letting us know that our dad had gone missing and sent us to bed. And then the following morning, we were actually told by my mum that my father had sadly passed. But we've never really truly known or understood what the cause of the crash was. And it's only recently, after listening to a documentation, watching a documentary, we understood that all of the documents relating to this crash had been locked away and without access to any of the families, any of the public. And it just causes so much suspicion on actually what happened that night. And that's what this campaign group is all about, demanding access to those documents and answers.
Lucy, you were only 2 when your dad died in this. You've kind of had to pick up this fight, I suppose, over the last 30 years. Why do you think that they have locked these documents away? What reason can you think that they would do that?
It's really, big mystery to all of us, and that's a big part of the campaign in terms of why are they being hidden, who's being protected, and ultimately why our fathers died. We know that the Chinook was unairworthy, but in terms of the kind of exact sort of technicalities and circumstances is really what we're looking for, and looking towards the Ministry of Defence for answers and accountability, really, in terms of getting those documents released to us.
There have been so many theories about what might have happened that night. Some of them perhaps conspiracy theories, because just there were so many very important military and intelligence officials on this one flight, and it was just as the Northern Ireland peace process was getting underway. When did you start to question sort of the official theory of what had happened that night?
So obviously there have been many inquiries over the years, and we were as thrilled as any of the families when the pilots were exonerated from their gross negligence.
They were initially blamed, weren't they? They were initially found to be at fault.
They were, that's correct, yes, and were cleared after many years of campaigning from the pilot's family. But since then, as Andy mentioned, it was really the BBC documentary from last year that opened our eyes. We weren't even aware that documentary was being broadcast at the time, but it was from there that the fact that these documents have been sealed for 100 years is really being the question mark over what the Ministry of Defence are hiding as a part of that.
What's it been like for you over the years, Andy, trying to sort of, I suppose, number one, deal with the death of your father, but also then to realise that you still don't really know what happened?
It's haunted my family. It's haunted all of us. We're still living in this world of ambiguity, and what happened to my father and all the other fathers who were on that aircraft on that night. And I have 2 young daughters that have no grandfather anymore. I have my own struggles with not having my father attend the football matches when I was younger, teaching me how to shave, having that first chat, as you grow older and as you develop. So from our perspective, it's been very, very tough. And we're just very, very keen now to get answers, to gain some closure on all of this.
And have you got any theories as to why they might want to close the documentation on this for so long?
from my perspective, I think we are very similar to some of the other tragic events that have happened in the last 30 years, like Hillsborough, like the infected blood scandal, like the post office. We are victims really of the same crime. Public authorities that have made mistakes, that have shown a great deal of deceit, arrogance, and callousness. And all we're looking for now is truth and transparency for, like I said, just to gain some closure for all of our families.
What do you think the documents might tell you, Lucy?
Again, it's a real mystery, and it's kind of one of those that we don't know what we don't know. We, as you have mentioned, many conspiracy theories and things flying through over the last 3 decades, but that's not what we want to focus on as part of the campaign. And really, the speculation around it is more just about kind of getting to the core of the answers and getting some responses from the Ministry of Defence.
Well, the Ministry of Defence has sent us a response to this. It's a statement. It says the Mull of Kintyre crash was a tragic accident and our thoughts and sympathies remain with the families, friends and colleagues of all those who died. Is that enough given what happened in the time that's passed?
It's not, no. It's not for any of the family members that were involved. We're angry with the government currently. We have been, written back to in quite a, we find, dismissive way. We've been rejected an in-person meeting with Alistair Khan's MP. So we don't feel that constitutes a respectable response, to be honest.
Let me thank you both for joining us this morning. Lucy Sparks there, who lost her dad, Major Gary Sparks, and Andy Tobias, whose dad, Lieutenant Colonel John Tobias, were both killed in that crash.